DC Multiverse!
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Say, why don't you take a look at the new DC Multiverse Aquaman action figure with me? Unlike the other figures from the Endless Winter storyline, Aquaman is not technically part of the wave and doesn't come with any pieces of the collect-to-build Frost King. But nonetheless, this figure is based off of his appearance in Justice League Endless Winter. Now, this figure comes with his trading card and a trident, and also an action figure stand. The trading card has a piece of digital action figure art on the front. It's a segment of the same art that's on the back of the packaging. Of course, there's going to be a little data file on the back there, which you could pause to read if you'd like to. And the trident that he comes with looks very, very cool. Mine's a little bent, but that's because the trident is just a little bendy. It's not like it's a soft rubber, it's just also not really rigid. I like the fact that this trident comes with 3 fork ends, making it an actual trident. It's got a fancy end, and is plenty thick enough to fit in Aquaman's hand. And Aquaman looks pretty badass with it, as he should. He should always look badass with a trident. And then we come to the main course. That's the Aquaman figure. A figure that a lot of us fans were crying out for, and finally Todd delivered. And he delivered well. This is my favorite look for an Aquaman. Having the scale mail goldfish armor, the gold belt with the Aquaman symbol right there in the middle, the green gloves and the green pants is always my favorite look. And up close, it looks great. That scale mail, that looks fantastic. You got the fins on the back. I like the design of those fins. There's like a spine to the fin, and then it really does kind of look like a fish fin. And up close, Aquaman's face sculpt, well, I think it looks pretty good. What do you think? Of course, I think I could do without the eyes looking off to the side like that. This is an action figure, and not a single posed football statue. But really, the sculpt and facial structure of Aquaman really look fantastic, and do a pretty good job also of matching the artwork that it's based off of. And Aquaman's hair is a softish rubber, so, you know, when you're trying to pose him around, the hair isn't really going to get in the way all that much. And speaking of articulation, it is as follows. The head is on a ball joint. That's actually pretty good. Looking back, yeah, I mean, you will find if you're trying to get him into a swimming pose, that hair is going to get in the way. The hair isn't really going to get in the way. But I feel like unless you have articulated hair, that just is a trade-off, and always has been a trade-off of having a long-haired figure. The arms, as usual, are attached with that rounded hinge. You got this other piece here, the socket that spins around. Looks very good. You've got a bicep swivel. You've got, ooh, those are really nice elbows. They crunch up nicely. You got the rounded hinge in the wrist. We know what kind of articulation that's going to give. In the torso, you have a fairly tight range of motion. I suppose I could get him to go 360 if I really wanted to, but I'm not aiming to mash the figure up too bad. Forward and backwards. Back more, forward less. And then you've also got waist articulation, a ball joint up into the torso there, up into the abdomen. As usual, 360, rubber underpants. Down here, you've got your typical McFarlane groin, and double jointed knees, like that. And is there any of this sort of, there's a little bit, not a lot. I don't think that there's intended to be that much there. And then, of course, the ankles. We can see them, we know what they're going to do. Rounded hinge, a pivot, and a toe articulation. And that's pretty much it for articulation. As for comparing him to other Aquaman figures, well, first of all, here he is compared to two Mattel, a DC Universe Classics and a DC Multiverse on the other side. Here we have a DC Direct Brightest Day and a DC Collectibles New 52, followed by a DC Essentials and a DC Icons. Now, just in case anyone was hoping there could be some kind of a head swap done with this guy, if you use the head sculpt from the Hook Hand Aquaman from the Justice League box set from DC Direct, then you'll end up with a perfect skin match and the eyes looking completely forward. I do think that this looks pretty good as an alternative if you're not liking the head that came on the body and you want something a bit more neutral. Well, here you have blonde underwater Jesus, and it looks great. Also, if you own the NECA Flash Gordon figure, That head doesn't look too bad on the body either. It's a short-haired Aquaman, and it works, I think. So at this point, I guess the question is, what do I think about this Aquaman figure? Do I feel like it's a worthwhile figure for you to purchase and add to your collection? Or is it the worst Aquaman figure that's ever been made? Take it out back, light it on fire, and poo on it. Well, you know me. Typically, I'm not going to buy a figure unless I'm assuming I'm going to like it. That's not always the case. Sometimes I come out surprised and I'm like, that figure was terrible. But not so with this Aquaman. That's not the case. I really like this Aquaman. I think that A, he's likely the best 7-inch scale Aquaman figure ever offered, and I like him better literally than any other Aquaman figure. These are my thoughts and opinions. Really, you're gonna have to make the decision when you pick this guy up in the store and look at him through the window box. I can certainly say that, in my opinion, you can buy with confidence. As usual, look at the paint apps though. But anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Hopefully you found this video to be a useful, interesting, entertaining waste of time for the day. If you have, you know where all the buttons are that do all the stuff, and I will see you with the next one. Goodbye, super friends.